Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon,
I'm your other host, Chanel.
and we are back to talk about episode 6 of Pluribus, season 1. But before we get into that, which I'm really excited to talk about, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. You can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/at We Was Watching, or just search for the We Was Watching podcast. By the way, Chanel, I got a new computer, and I didn't log into YouTube, and I typed in We Was Watching podcast, and we came up. So we're good. So you can like our videos, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. I'm quite sure you probably just misspelled it, of course. You can also email the show.
No, it was the algorithm was hiding us. I'm Chanel creating, and if I look for me, it's Chanel and then it's channel. Like the algorithm doesn't go, oh yeah, Chanel creating. We have an exact name of that. It goes like, do you mean knitting and creating things on a channel? And I'm like, no. So anyway, your algorithm experience is made to gaslight mine, and that's okay.
I mean, some of us can spell and some of us can't. You can also email the show at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us any theories you have about Pluribus before we get into our next show, Fallout, in a couple weeks. And you can also find us on all the social medias at We Was Watching on TikTok and Twitters and all the nonsense. You can find us there. All right, so yeah, I want to jump right in the show because I have a lot to say this week, and it's late. We'll get your what you been on just at the end.
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
Oh, I started looking at the live cast and I was like, how come it didn't change? But I wasn't looking at OBS. All right. This episode was called HPD, right? I think it was called HPD. Or what was it? HDP? Is it HDP? I wrote it. HDP. Okay, yeah, HDP, not HPD. Yeah, HDP, which we found out exactly what that was. But so no, this is what I wanted to tell you. This is why I was so excited about this episode. This show, these creators are not doing the easy outs, right? In most shows, this reveal that Carol finds would have been like some turning point, right? It would have been like, oh, we knew the whole time they was up to something like this. Now it's about to change everything with the show, right? Like that's what you oftentimes see with the show. And in this episode, we got this big reveal. And then like 10 minutes later, it was like, oh, you thought we was about to do that thing. No, we're not about to do that thing. We still on the same path. We're gonna make it draw out a little bit longer, right? And I like the fact that one of the big fears of the show, they just straight up was like, yeah, we're probably not gonna do that one either. And so now it makes me think like, what the hell is gonna happen in the show, which is good because they set up an inflection point in the middle of the first season. And then instead of making it a turning point, it was just something to make you think even more, is what I thought. So that's what really made me excited about this because it was just different than what you see in most shows.
I'm so happy for you in that experience.
You didn't see that. You didn't get that.
We're having different viewing experiences, and that's okay.
You didn't get that.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, I think I definitely think they are doing what you're saying, which is like they're not necessarily like they're telling a story, but they're not like building a traditional arc in the sense of like this happens and this happens and then this happens. So I or maybe it depends on how you're looking at me, if that made sense. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like just kind of like they're not cresting on a wave and then turning it, and then we have this big reveal where I guess like the next best thing I can think of, post-apocalyptic cannibalism comes up and it's a big deal is like Walking Dead, and that did like change the tenor of the show, but like the main character, it was they had kind of built up like a eerie sense of stuff happening, and then you find out, oh, this is happening, and then you're like, oh shit, we got to get out of here. But she can't get out of here. It's not like a situation or a scene or a group she can leave from. It's like the situation the world is in. So yeah, I do think they're making interesting choices. Like, I'll give you that all day. The show itself is like super novel, in terms of, we've seen a lot of post-apocalyptic, we've seen a lot of virus, we've seen a lot of like, I guess we've seen the Borg, right? Like, we've seen this idea before of like people assimilating. So they are making really fresh choices. I appreciate that. But yeah, I wasn't, maybe it's because my first watch, my second watch, I appreciate a little bit more. But also, here's the thing, I'm genuinely watching from week to week, and I can tell you how much is happening for me from one Wednesday to the next. So literally, it wasn't until this I put the episode back on that I was like, oh yeah, she found the dead bodies. Like, I just, you gotta binge for me, or else I'm gonna forget what happened last episode. So it kind of takes away some of the
Typical Gen Z.
cliffhanger.
Typical
No,
Gen Z can't just
stop
watch.
saying that. Stop saying that. I'm
shows.
not. Stop misinforming people. I'm a millennial. I was born in the '90s, early '90s,
Very
but
typical.
it's more so the ADHD and like the way my memory works. So, long story short, we're having different experiences. I think that's what makes this podcast compelling, because if someone just wants to go and hear somebody just go track by track of like what happened, they can get that in the official podcast. Here you have two people one person who loves the show, the other person who take it or leave it.
Mm-mm.
I think that's compelling.
It's not compelling. I agree with everything you just said, by the way. Except the thing that was getting with me is more so that almost every show I've ever seen like this, it's setting up like, it wants you to think like, oh, there's something more than what we're showing you. Like they're hiding something. There's something more. And then this episode was like, ha, we found out what they were hiding. And then they were just like, oh, you thought you found something. Isn't that nice? And so that's what was just, it just caught me off guard, because I'm not used to seeing that in these types of TV shows. I'm used to
That's super valid.
I'm used to it being, you have this eerie feeling that they're hiding something, and then you find out the thing that they're hiding, and then that changes everything. And so that's just, what really caught me differently.
What I like about the show, like from a just thinking about it holistically perspective, is you see such a range. Like, if there's 12 survivors, if there's 12 non-joined, unjoined, unassimilated, then you have 12 different perspectives of what would happen in the situation. And that's the part that gets it for me, is like trying to figure out who exactly, how am I showing up in this situation if it was me, and would I even recognize that in myself if it was really happening. So I think that's what I think is very interesting, is like the situation and asking myself questions, because like now we realize, if we had to make a chart, like Carol being ornery is, we think like she's the extreme end of non-acceptance of the situation, and like Diabante is like, well, he's close to accepting, and then like the chick who's like, I want to be close to my family, is like the most accept, right? There's a scale. Mm-hmm. And then I realized my guy in Uruguay, he's literally like off the chart, because he don't know nothing. At least Carol asked some questions, and they shamed her for doing that too late. So I think just seeing the different perspectives helps me kind of relate to how I would again act in this situation. That's what's compelling about it for me. Because I was like, damn, would I be in Vegas? And the truth is, no, I'd be in Bali. I'd be in Bali. I would be.
You'd be Diabante.
I'd be in a resort. I'd be Diabante, but I'd be in a resort somewhere. I would be on a mountaintop. Like, I would just be doing all the stuff I've said I've wanted to do, but didn't have the time or money to do. Like, that's what I would be doing. It wouldn't be Vegas for me, but it would be like the Ritz-Carlton Bali. I'm not gonna lie to you. It would be the same. It would just not be in America.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's this guy. Diabante reminds me of the guy from I don't think I ever like really went into detail about it, but I saw the Stan documentary, like Eminem's movie that came out this year. And there's this guy who was obsessed with Marshall Mathers, and he came all the way from Paris, and he was like, oh, Detroit, oh, this is so cool. And we were and everyone in Detroit watching the movie started laughing, because he talked about how nice Detroit is. And we were like, oh, okay, that's Diabante. He's like, oh, Vegas, it's so French. And it's like, Americans avoid the Strip like the plague. It's like avoiding Times Square. So it's just a funny way to kind of make that decision.
So this episode had a cold open, picked up right where we left off at the milk plant. Carol comes running out of this place like she saw a ghost. It's like, oh my, not even like she saw a ghost, like she saw Satan. Like she just saw the worst thing that she could possibly see in the world.
Question: if you saw a dead body, do you think you throw up?
If it was smelling, yeah.
Cause I always wonder if I would. Speaking of that, last week we got a comment that said from Chill You. Thanks for being in the Chill You 7. You know who you are. Thank you for being in the chat. They said, I don't think they're burying the bodies because burying 900 million people all at once is just impossible. They're probably devolving the bodies and consuming them for nutrients. That's the white stuff in the sack that she found. So this person figured it out actually. And I'm glad I did read this comment last week because they nailed it.
We figured it out on the show. You don't remember the end of the show?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I want to give Chill their props.
Trying to give them credit that we figured. In fact, we called that she was going to Vegas episodes ago. Multiple episodes ago.
You did, because I don't remember that. Well, also open-minded left milk emoji, camera emoji, computer emoji, wolf emoji, police car emoji, grave emoji. That's also a winning comment. That's a superb comment. Thank you.
She's damn near gagging, ready to throw up, as Chanel was just alluding to. But instead of leaving like, a normal person, she
Is that be like, ooh, that's terrible. I gotta go.
She's like, I think it's time to do a documentary. I'm gonna take my handheld.
She's Blair Witching.
She's Blair Witching it. Yes, I was going to say Sixth Sense, but it wasn't Sixth Sense. It was Blair Witch. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, I was there when that came out. I know you had to learn about it in from like your big brother. Tell you about it, but I was there when Blair Witch came out.
Just wait until next episode, listeners, when Chanel opens her Christmas gifts that I got her.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy! Don't send me. Don't. I've told my family that they're getting hugs for Christmas. So if you got me something, I'm gonna be embarrassed.
So then she goes back in, and I thought this was I knew this was going to happen, but the way they shot it was even better because it felt like she was actually recording it like a person would be recording it, which is funny as opposed to just switching the camera shot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, yeah, she's like, because she goes, well, let me orient you, because she's like, you're not gonna know what you're looking at here. So let me show you, like, here's a wall, here's the thing, here's whatever, like the way that you would if you felt like this is my one chance to prove to someone something crazy is happening. Like, this is not doctors, not AI. Here's a room, here's the floor, so you can be oriented. So yeah, like the acting and the because I was wondering how much of that part of the script was ad-libbed and how much of it was scripted, and it doesn't really matter because it just came off so authentic. So
they're asking a lot of her in this show, and so far she's delivered because a lot of her scenes are literally by herself, and even like the best actors of all time, the Viola Davises and the Meryl Streeps, etc. Like they can do it, but it's hard to do that. You can do that in like a movie for like 2 or 3 scenes, 4 scenes for an hour, but it's hard to. It's not that people can't do it. But a lot of people can't do it. It's hard to do it episode after episode and make it compelling.
No, I agree. I have something controversial to say.
What's that?
You know who I think is a better actor than both of those actresses you just named?
Who?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I mean, maybe. You think Leo's better than both of them?
I think Leo's better than both of them, and that's crazy for me to say because I'm pro women, I'm pro black women, I'm pro black. So all those reasons, I should not be giving that old man who like 25-year-olds any credit. But it was like it's not even just his whole catalog. It was a moment. His acting in like what was the Tarantino movie with the son? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
His acting in that I was like, oh, he's that nigga. And it's been hard. No one's dethroned him since in my head. I'm talking about
he's fantastic. He is fantastic. I don't actually. It'd be interesting to see Leo. Leo would probably do well in something like this. It'd be interesting to see that.
Oh, he'd be so good. I mean, and I didn't see Revenant, but maybe Revenant is similar. Like he
I didn't
had
see
his time
Revenant
on
either.
screen by himself. Yeah, you haven't seen nothing. You ain't seen shit.
No.
I'm still mad about weapons.
In fact, I used to
I wish I
watch.
had.
They used to send me those those movies for like when I was a critic, and I ain't watched that one because I was not about to watch him fight a bear, so I was good.
Well,
I took a
anyway,
stand.
yeah, Meryl Streep. So I'll give you those three, and then like I think they're all great, but I just think that like I need I missed the Meryl Streep train. Like I didn't see the movies coming up that made her who she is, and then obviously I understand Viola Davis, like she's that girl. And I actually think we're just spoiled because we see such good actors that there's so many good actors that we could have this argument all day. But I just wanted to give Leo his little petunias.
I think that's valid. So she's talking about look at this. They got all this food in here. They got everything under these white sheets. But I bet y'all ain't see this shit. They got
this ain't no butterball.
This ain't no butterball turkey. And she holds up a wrapped human severed head, and she says, "By the way, you want to know what's behind that fucking door? Big ass vats and grinders. What you think they grinding up back there?" And then it cuts back to her going home. Yeah, she didn't say that.
This
but
would be a great. But this would be a great SNL character, just like the black woman. I can see Ego Woodham, even though she's not on the show anymore, doing that character. Be like, y'all won't believe what they got in there. They got people, and people just like underreacting to her. She was kind of giving caricature a little bit because she was like, I'm not trying to be funny. I think if I actually saw a severed human head, I would be like shook. But this situation is so.
I would too.
But this situation is so like. I have a controversial take here. I just feel like, duh. Like, duh. They're not human. Duh. They're going to eat them. They grind them. Duh. It makes sense. Humans would eat humans if they had to, if they were starving. So I know that these butterflies are going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every animal that eats meat would eat themselves if they had to.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I understand that why she's shocked, but they did tell her like, hey, by the way, remember when you shook the table, you killed like a million people. So like,
11 million people.
That's what I'm saying. And then they said 100,000 die every day, and we've been 12 days, so that's now 13 million people. So my thing is, do you see 13 million graves being dug? No, you knew the bodies were somewhere. So I think the problem is she's been going through her thing, and so she hasn't stepped back to be like, what's up with the milk? How does this feel? What are y'all doing with the bodies? Who's running it? Is Verizon still working?
No. I think you're right, except I think she assumed they was eating plants. They was like vegetarians. Because they said they're vegetarian.
Well, they did say they're vegetarian, but yeah, later I'll tell you my whole take about like her, because she has her moments where I'm like, okay, they're overdoing it with her. Like I need them to stop going hard on her, and then she has moments where I'm like, Carol, stop, Carol.
She goes home and she makes another video. She's got this video. She's ready to send this shit. By the way, this is one of the funniest. This episode had a lot of funny stuff within all this sick stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I've seen no one talk about this, is one of the funniest fucking things to me because I find these little shit so funny. No. Why is she putting a return address on her package? Like she's sending it in the fucking mail. What are you talking? She's writing her whole address and everything in there.
So they have her phone number. Well, because in her mind, so this is the interesting thing in terms of like her acting it out. She doesn't use any words, but like she goes to send it like she normally, because like what she's made a couple videos at this point, and she's been leaving them on the curb, and then they've been sending a drone to come pick them up, and she's just been praying and hoping that they're going out to the ether and they're actually getting delivered. And so this one, she realizes like, oh shoot, I actually need to hand deliver this, because if I don't, they'll never share this. Like this is too much of a revelation. Like this is too big. I've cracked the case. They're going to suppress it. There's no way they're going to let him get this tape. So she writes it on there, I think like out of habit, but I agree with you. Like these are small little things where like the normal things you would keep doing. Like, I probably would still lock my doors. Yeah, like I would still lock my doors. You know what I'm saying? Like it would take a while for me to like not leave my keys in the car or in the door or whatever.
The little things that she does gets me every episode. There's a scene later on, which we'll get to, where she's like calling them and waiting on the answer machine, and she's so fidgety and can't, like she's so like like physically
Well,
annoyed.
it's a long message. It's a long message to hear
She's
over
like
and over.
looking
Like
down and kicking her feet and shit. And I was like, that's exactly how people would act in this scenario.
She has important stuff to say. But this is why I wanted to dang. When we go to the what we've been on later, I need to ask you about your YouTube Wrapped. Just remind me because I'm gonna forget.
Oh, I haven't looked, so I'll look.
Okay.
So she goes to the bedroom.
I bet you we was watching podcasts is in your number one. That's what we need to discuss.
No, it's definitely not number one.
Mm-hmm.
She goes back to her bedroom. She starts packing her bed, and she's headed to Vegas, which we knew. But before she can leave, she's like, I don't want them human remains on my fucking floor. And so she runs back in the living room and vacuums up the sack that fell down.
Yeah, that was very funny. With, like, she has a mask on, she puts a scarf on, like she gets dressed to do it, which is like valid because she's like, I don't know when I'm coming home. I don't want this people dust on my living room coffee table. I know she's probably so glad she didn't taste the milk.
Yes. Viva Las Vegas. We're in Vegas. And we get an entire scene that's so fucking insane, but it's absolutely some shit I would be doing if I was in this situation, replaying some of my favorite movie scenes in real life. And you know the funny thing about this, Chanel? Of course, it's completely convincing because they have access to all the best actors in the world. So they all can be Leo and Viola Davis and Meryl Streep. Everyone in the world can be that great of an actor.
But here's the thing. It would take 3 days before I'm like, Tim, your heart's not really in this.
No, they'd be too convincing.
No, I'd be like, Tim, if I'm making you do the sketch, if I'm making you do the slick back hair, you didn't really do it on your own. Like, comedy's funny because someone else is doing it and you get the chance to entertain it. If someone's doing it because it doesn't feel the same.
That's how convincing they are. What if he doesn't have to tell him?
Not convincing.
What if he doesn't have to tell him? What if he's just like, listen, think about all the movies that take place in Vegas, and every day I want a different scene from those movies. And then she just shows up and it just does them. And he's from France, so he ain't seen them before.
That's still asking for it, though. I think it's more like, and here's why Carol's right ultimately, because Tim can never come up with new material. There's never going to be a new sketch, right? Like Larry David would not write. Think about Larry David in this scenario, right? He's laughing and joking with you, and he also understands, like, you know, he has lived through civil rights or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a different person inherently. It ruins the whole point of diversity of voicing. Yeah,
for the long term. But if you have access to every piece of art in history, you're not going to be able to go through all of them before we die. So you could go through everything without having to get everything. Something new it'd be new to you.
Right. I think but I'm saying like discovering historical stuff would be more what I would lean into versus.
Oh, okay.
My brain would kick in and I'd be way too conscious of the fact that like, yeah, I'm having Meryl Streep like do lip syncing for me. Like, that's not like, what am I doing? Like, why? Like, that woman does not need to be doing it. She's saying she's happy to do it, but she's really not at the end of the day.
Well, my boy Diabate, he clearly watched James Bond movies growing up. So he's got a whole suite full of people. But it's the funny thing about it is the extras are doing shit that has nothing to do with him. There was a black couple kissing on the side. There's like this woman making martinis and bringing them out to the other licked people. That has nothing to do with Diabate. It's just a scene. It's just a whole scene going on.
Yeah, and that's how committed they are because as soon as he's out of there, they're not doing that. So that's what's really amazing about this.
Diabate is playing poker against a dude who looks straight up out of a villain out of a Bond movie, eye patch included, and they're playing poker and they're shooting this shit so serious. And I'm fucking in tears watching this. I'm like, why are they shooting this so sincere? And they got like the intense music playing, and it's supposed to be like, this is the all in hand, it's all or nothing. And the villain goes in and he has a straight flush, and they cut to my boy Diabate and he's looking at him, and he even has the woman next to him like, are you sure you want to do this? Which happens all the time in these fucking movies. And so
Mhm.
he says, yeah, and he pushes it all in, and he's got a royal flush, and he wins, and everybody starts clapping.
And everyone's cheering,
And then
even the guy with the eye patch.
and then Diabate goes like, "Hey, dude, stay in character. The fuck?" And then he was like,
He's
"Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah."
yeah. That was the best part of that scene. I'm not gonna hold you.
And then he gets up and slaps the glass down. It's basically like, "I'm gonna get you, fuck you," and he storms out. And then Diabate gets carried out. He's like, "Who wants to join a winner?" And all these women come with him, and he walks out with the women. And as soon as
Okay.
they leave out the door,
Second watch, here's what you missed. The second watch, okay, so there's bodyguards with the villain guy. So he goes, who wants to come with me? Cause like the dealer decides to come. The girl who was with the villain decides to leave and go with Diabante. And in the back, I swear to you, the two bodyguards raised their hands and they were like, me. And he said, next time.
I didn't see that one.
That killed me. I did not see that to the second watch. So yeah, there's like they just love it. But this is what I'm saying. Do they actually love it, or is it just in their prime directive to act like they love it? Like I'm so conflicted about if this is coercion or not, because they're so excited to do it and he's asking and they don't have like they just want to make him happy, but is that inherently wrong because it's not their choice?
It reminded me, the end of that scene reminded me of a story about the Kembe Mutombo, former NBA player, who's like the greatest like person of all time. He
Mhm.
passed away, but like he took most of
Rest
his
in
money,
peace.
built hospitals back in Africa and schools, and like supposedly like the nicest man of all time, just the
Mhm.
gentlest of giants. And there's this famous story of him when he used to play with the Atlanta Hawks, where they end up going to a club. He came in late after the rest of his teammates, and he walks in the club, and he goes up to the table where everyone's dancing and partying, and he goes, "I'm in the house. Who wants to sex Mutombo?" And everyone starts laughing at him because he's just so big and awkward and funny, right? And that's what that every time I hear that story, this reminded me of that, because he's just like, "Who wants to come with a winner? Who wants to come with me?" And they're like, "Me, I want to come with a
Who
winner," and
wants
they
to
leave.
sex Matumbo?
Who wants to sex
Love that.
Mutombo?
Wow. But yeah, it brings up questions about consent, not just from the fact that like these are sex partners, but more so in like, are they happy to do it? Because when he leaves, everyone, like you said, goes back to normal. They turn off. Like they're still smiling, but they're just like they just set about cleaning up after him. So it's very clear that like they have no desire to have done any of that stuff if it wasn't for him watching it and if it wasn't for building out the ambiance for him. So it's just a
Yes,
very
or maybe they enjoy doing stuff for people.
right. And like, but when they don't enjoy doing anything for themselves, that's when we have an imbalance. And like, all I'm saying is people do stuff, and like the first layer is always going to have like an explanation, but you kind of got to go to that second layer to be like, okay, but is this healthy or not? So I'm just not convinced that they want to do it I'm not convinced, like, how do we know they're not enslaved in their own way? Like, even though they, you know what I'm saying? Even though what they communicate to us is that this is who they are, this is biological, we still don't know that that's not like there's not some layer inside of them that would be freed. If they would be free, they would be relieved. We
It's
just don't
to me,
know
it's like,
because you
I
can't
guess
know.
we'll learn more. I think that's a great question. To me, it's kind of like, if a poisonous snake bites you,
Mhm.
does the snake want to poison you? Does it have any choice in poisoning you, or is it just going to poison you when it bites you? Like, that's just what
Yeah.
it is.
And you're thinking about it like from like an animal, like, animal instinct kind of perspective, which I get. I'm thinking of it more of like a course of like you could be a people pleaser, but are you actually people pleaser, or have
Yes,
you not dealt with the thing you need to deal with to actually
yes.
realize that there's stuff below that? And then boom, lo and behold, people have a crisis or whatever, and then they're like, oh, actually, I've been lying to myself for years. So that obviously is not as like as dynamic as that, because that's like a very like human going through therapy thing. But just because that dynamic exists, like I'd just be curious if there is on some level they're down there screaming for help, it like on some level mentally or psychologically.
Next scene, we see Diabate in the hot tub, and look, he ain't. I'll give him this. I'll give him this. He ain't discriminating. He had a couple black women. He had a white woman. He had a like a Latino woman. And then this older lady comes up, and that's like serving him, Gillette, and he's like, Gillette, you trying to get in too? Like, you want some of this?
He's like, come on, girl.
And Gillette's like, all right, I'm down. So like,
come sex Matumbo.
Exactly. And then they all just stop. And then he's like, what the fuck? And they're like, we gotta get up on out of here, dog. He's like, why? And she's like, you're about to have a visitor. I'm sorry. We love you. We'll be back when your visitor leaves, but we gotta go. And so that's when we cut to Carol showing up in Vegas looking miserable as fuck. And I was like, God damn, you bringing your misery to fuck up Diabante's like he was having the time of his life. Now he about to be lonely. And Carol shows up.
But then again, it's like, is it the time of your life if it's every single day? Like, at what point? Like, it's been 12 days. But at what point would Diabante be like, I want some actual conflict.
I think that's going to happen. Right. I think that's eventually because if this show's going to go multiple seasons, we either have to do one or two things. The other 11 have to start coming around to this thing and get like a team up, or there has to be, there's one of three things. The other 11 have to come around, or there's people who haven't been changed that we haven't seen yet that are hiding out somewhere or in some bunker or something like that that Carol finds. Or three, there's that some of the lick start reforming, coming back. And because they have to be people. Yeah. This cannot be a multi-season show if just Carol. As great as it's been so far, it can't be 90% Carol, 10% random other people. So at some point, they're going to have to interact with more people.
That's why this is unique and compelling, because we don't know what the future would look like for this show. It's not clear. I'd be interested in what could happen if they solve this problem in the first season. I know they're probably not going to, but like, this is why, and I talk about the show seasonally because I loved it so much. Veronica Mars was one of my favorite shows. It was so pivotal. Like, it was like a personality defining show for teen girls, and there was a core mystery that started in the pilot, and by the end of the first season, they had solved that bitch, and it was on the two new mysteries by the end of it, and you were like, holy shit, like, it was just layered. And so it wasn't about finding someone's killer for 3 seasons. It was about like, oh, actually this other stuff happened that you thought you cared about her killer, but you actually care about this happening now. And that was when I was like, oh, TV is cool. And that really like just set me down the path of understanding that like writing was not just like sitcom, like, you know.
Well, the interesting thing is they optioned this show for 2 seasons before it started. So before it even started, they were like, we're booking 2 seasons. So
we gotta tell the story.
So I'm imagining that Vince had already written the first 2 seasons story out.
I mean, if it's a limited 2 seasons thing, then that makes sense. Like, let's do that. Or I could see it being anthology, like you said. Like, I don't necessarily want to start over from like Lock Street's perspective, but I don't mind seeing more of that potentially. I just don't see the point unless it's all going into some type of like you said, convergence around the solution later.
So Carol gets to the West Gate, and they got on a big ass billboard sign, they're welcoming her. She walks upstairs, and Diabante's waiting right there, pouring a drink, like he knew Carol was coming. Carol's like, "Hey, dog, like, you knew I was coming?" He's like, "Yeah, they told me you was coming." She's like, "Look."
What am I? And I realized they've all cleared out of. I don't know if they cleared out all of Vegas, but they've cleared out completely because of her. That's why they left so early, because they took everybody was out there with him, and I think they all left the city.
They need their space. And
they need their space.
She's like, "Listen, dog, I'm about to break. Woodward and Bernstein ain't got shit on me. I got the biggest news of history of all time.
Forget about her.
Did you got a TV, dog?" And he's like,
hold on, wait, there's more. WikiLeaks? Fuck that.
Yeah, WikiLeaks, yeah.
She's like, you ain't even seen nothing yet. Whistleblower, Deep Throat? Deeper.
I got this.
What do you got? HDMI, all right?
That part was so funny to me. That's why I kept it in there because it's so
No, that is funny.
like
It is funny.
the thing
It
that's
is funny.
getting me about this is it's the way she's acting is so like real to me. Like how someone would be acting in this situation. Because she's not acting like an actor.
Yeah, the black translation is her being like, bitch, you're not gonna believe this. That's how she put up. She said, "You're not about to motherfucking believe. Sit down before I tell you this, because you're not gonna.
She did.
You're gonna trip."
She literally said that. Yeah.
Is this another one of your videos?
You've seen my videos?
Mm-hmm.
They actually sent you my videos.
Of course. They were very well done.
He like, bitch thinks she able to burn it.
I bet you Diabate was broke in France.
Are you joking? Duh, he wasn't. He definitely. The outfits alone tell you that this is just him. He's just so happy to be here.
Yeah, he had to be broke, and he's just experiencing like all the finer things in life.
I mean, to be fair though, like it's funny that we're saying that. Most people are broke because the middle class is imploded. So like most of us would lose their. Only about 5% of us have lived a life like this, and we keep acting like it's like a 50-50 chance thing. No, like most of us would enjoy a week in the Elvis suite.
Yeah, but like only a broke person would dress like that. Like I'd probably go like you said you would go to Bali. I'd probably go somewhere, but I wouldn't start dressing like Hugh Hefner.
Right, and I think that's more of a personality thing, and that also is like we got to remember he's European, so there's already a whole different situation there. But this is actually my favorite part of the episode is when we start to discover his art that he's put up in the.
Oh yeah, I love the art.
We see it for a second. I didn't see that to the second thing, but anyway, I mean he's starting to grow on me a little
bit. Which means he's got the licks doing photo shoots for him.
Exactly. No, but it's giving French Jerome wrong because I'm like, okay, I feel like I would be Carol in a lot of situations, but then the photo shoot, me. That's so me. Having me up on a thing because I'm like, oh, I guess I live here now, and it's just like me doing like fucking blue steel on a canvas. That's me. Diamante's channeling.
That's one of the things that made me the most happy you've ever said.
What, blue steel?
Yes. Ben Stiller is my favorite actor.
The way you underestimate me is crazy.
Ben Stiller's my favorite actor. You can always hit my warm spot with something with Ben Stiller. Along Came Polly, all of them. Something About Mary.
Is okay.
But Meet the Parents is the greatest movie of all time. No one will ever tell me otherwise.
Greg. Okay.
Very dramatic.
What?
Very dramatic.
Her physical acting, I watch it so much.
But mind you, if I come in and I tell you something crazy and you go very dramatic, I would fight. I'd be like, dramatic? Are you calling me a child? Like, what are you saying right now? That would have pissed me off.
Do you see the Reddits and the social medias are calling Carol a leisure lord? They talk about her leisure fits and outfits have been so on point this whole season. Like her Lululemons and everything is just so leisurely that they've been.
Well, that is how she would dress.
They've been on that.
You could have. Forget it. When you see this one, let's just say it's disturbing.
You're not gonna believe it.
I hate to use a cliche, but you might want to sit down. Seriously. Because I am telling you, what you are about to witness.
Is this about them eating people?
This is so funny. Look at her face. They should have played the Curb theme.
Another audio that could go here. Do you know? I don't know if you genuinely don't listen to it, but Travis Scott has an ad lib where he goes straight up. That's what it is. Like he's just like straight up. Like,
I don't think I've ever listened to a Travis Scott song ever. My entire life.
Ever?
Ever.
You live in Texas.
Is he from here? I'm not from Texas. How the hell would I know? I'm not a Texan.
Never mind. Remind me to clip this. This is a great clip. This is great for the socials.
What?
It is troubling.
Wait, how could you?
Allow me.
Now, Chanel, were you expecting what they're about to show? Because I was not expecting this at all.
No. And it was my reminder that, like, you know what? Because I don't know why I feel like HBO Max should own him right now. And I'm like, I can't believe he's in other stuff. He's outside the DC universe. I'm like, oh yeah, he is still John Cena. That makes sense. But also, what I didn't see anything because I can't see anyone. I hear John Cena, but I don't see John Cena. Get
What are you
it?
talking? Oh yeah, you can't see him. I get it.
Yeah.
Hello, Carol. We're John Cena, and we're here to address some questions you
He's like everywhere now, by the way. Like he's completely blown up in the last year or two.
may be having regarding our food supply.
His last
Happy
match is
Prime.
like in
That
2 weeks too, by the way.
last match. Yeah, okay. Just like Jay-Z's last album.
He's been on his
Also-
retirement tour all year. That he won the championship a few months ago, so he broke the Ric Flair's record. So he has the most world champions ever. So they made him the most of all time. He became a bad guy again for the first time in like 15 years, which people wanted to see, which was kind of fun. And then now he's back
He
as a
went
good
heel?
guy. He went heel. Now he's back as a good guy. And they had him win the Intercontinental title because that was the only championship he never won in 22 years. And he just lost that to Dominic Mysterio. And now his final match is on Saturday night's main event on NBC. And I think it's in a week. I think it's next week. I think it's next Saturday. Saturday night.
I did not know Cena was back to wrestling.
He's been
First
back
of all,
all year.
congrats.
I forget what he called it, but it basically it's his retirement tour. And he did an
Comeback
interview today. He was like, I wanted to do a whole year, like 200 dates, like the whole loop and everything. And he told me, but they told him they only needed him for 36 dates. So he's on date 35 Monday, and then date 36, I think it's next Saturday.
No, that's mad interesting. Yeah, I love John Cena. I was a fan of him in wrestling, and we've talked about Peacemaker on this podcast. So if you just start watching with Pluribus, go back and watch our recap of. Did we do both seasons? We did both seasons of Peacemaker.
Do both seasons.
Love that show. We love him as an actor. I've loved him since The Marine. I'm a real fan. I've loved him since the mixtape. But anyway, yeah, he is everywhere now. I knew he was gonna be getting his tour and it was gonna let him break records when Ford had a Rock commercial and then they had a John Cena commercial, and I was like, ooh, I feel like he stole the Rock Dwayne Johnson sponsorship.
You should also go watch Blockers. One of the most underrated movies in the last 10 years.
It is. It's a good movie.
It's so great.
I've seen it. They keep trying to make. I guess Rose Byrne is a comedy. Okay, never mind. I take that back. She's a comedy actress. I'll give her that. It's just I don't think of her that way, but she is. Now the more I think about it, and I loved her in Physical, so I'm being a hater.
As you know, we can't purposely kill, harm, or otherwise interfere with any form of life. That limits what we're able to consume. Because when we say any life, that includes plant life.
I wonder why they picked him to deliver this. Is it because it's just
is
funny?
Very giving.
It's just funny that it's him.
I think funnier people could have been somebody controversial. Maybe they wouldn't go there. Who else is lovable? Like they could have did Miss Rachel.
I feel like Miss Rachel. I only know Miss Rachel because my buddy just had a baby like a year ago, and she loves Miss Rachel. But if I didn't have a friend that just had a young child, I'd have no idea who that is.
Well, another thing Miss Rachel does that is very, very like worth talking about is her work with Palestinian children, and her like promoting their health and wellness and well-being on her show when at a time when a lot of people are acting like nothing's happening to kids in Palestine. So I fuck with her. But it could have been her. It could have been I definitely would have accepted Morgan Freeman.
No, that would have been too serious.
I would have accepted Damson Idris.
No, you know who it should have been? Liam Neeson.
I could do Liam Neeson. You know what? Hey, I could have also taken anybody on the SVU cast.
Well, no, not Stabler. Fuck him.
What's wrong with Chris Maloney?
Fuck Stabler.
Fuck Stabler? Okay, we're getting off track because there's no way you just said that.
We can't harvest wheat or corn or rice. We can't pluck an apple from a tree. Once an apple drops of its own accord, well, we'll eat it, of course. And
I rewound that 3 times. It was so funny to me how he just said that. Well, we'll eat it, of course.
gratefully. Indeed, we harvest all the windfall we can find. Plus, there are billions of domesticated animals, cows, chief amongst them, that still require milking. And there's pre-existing food, millions of tons of it, that was processed prior to our joining. So far, so good, right? Except for one small problem. As of this taping, there are 7.
I love how they shot this, like an actual like infomercial. It's just so perfect, like with the B-roll and everything.
348 million, 292,000.
John Cena is just shrinking into the crowd.
That's a lot of mouths to feed. We're facing a caloric deficit, and to make up for it, we've had to take certain measures. This is how we get our sustenance. 1/2 pint of this shelf-stable liquid contains 300 calories, which means that based on a diet of 2,400 calories a day, someone John Cena size needs 8 of these every 24 hours. Larger individuals require more, smaller ones less. What's in it? Well, a lot of things. It's manufactured across the globe, so the recipe changes based on the local availability of ingredients. Mostly, it's those stockpiled foodstuffs we spoke of, particularly ones that are in danger of spoiling. Additionally, each carton contains 8 to 12% of something we call HDP, human-derived protein. And yep, that's pretty much what it sounds like.
Exactly what it sounds like. This scene was what I was talking about when we first started. I was so blown away by this, like completely and utterly blown away that they took something so serious. Like in any other TV show, the idea of cannibalism would be like the central, like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And they took it and just flipped on its head and was like, I mean, I can explain. And then they just explain it.
I mean that, but also like, I'm not joking. It makes sense. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same as like them going and killing people and doing it for that reason. You know what I mean? So like, it's just, it just doesn't feel that have the same shock value as like you said, it's not like a Turner. And now how we found out they've been lying the whole time versus omission, that'd be different. Or like, if she had asked them straight up and they had lied, then it would feel more like a reveal. But like, I think, and I guess I'll just say like, this is where I diverge with Carol. Like, by the second or third day that they didn't break into my house and like go Mongolian on me, like by that I mean like a horde breaking into my village and like stealing people. By the time they don't do that to me, I'm assuming I'm safe, because like they would have already turned me if they could have. And so I'm not worried about them anymore. Like at that point, by 3 days of consistency, them showing up, by the time I'm like, oh, okay, like they're not lying. So I think Carol's just dragging it a little bit, and so is Mr. Uruguay. But in general, like I would have eventually adapted to like, all right, they can't turn me. They think it's good for me, but they can't. What else is going on? And I would have spent less time trying to figure out like, oh, are they secretly lying to me, and more time trying to figure out what the fuck's is actually the details of what's happening.
100,000 people pass away each day due to natural causes and accidents. Those human remains, which would otherwise go to waste, are our source of HDP. We cherish the memory of these people and appreciate their sacrifice. Given our druthers, would we choose to consume HDP?
Druthers is a great word.
No.
What does it mean? I didn't look it up.
It's like if we were given, it means basically like if we were up to our own accord, like that type of thing.
Interesting. That's a good word.
Throughout history, most cultures, though not all, have taken a dim view of anthropophagy. Honestly, we're not that keen on it ourselves, but we're left with little choice. Rest assured, Carol, you will never have to consume this product, not unless you want to, which we assume is unlikely. We will never serve HDP to you in any form, at any time. We will continue to reserve only the freshest, best windfall and stockpiled foods for you. We hope that clears things up. As always, your well-being is of the utmost importance to us. Any comments, concerns?
He even put like call us 24/7 with like fake music in the background. So great. What a great scene
Also,
that was.
that calls in 24/7, but also you still leaving a message though, because we still need our space.
Oh yeah, I cut that part off. He does say that. He was like,
No,
because
I'm
we
just saying
still.
in general, it's so funny how consistent they are. Like they're like, listen, we do need space. Like honestly, we're still mad at you, but we're glad you asked.
So Carol's like, oh shit. And then Diabante's like, she's like, so you're still good with this shit? He's like, no, I told you. I have my concerns, but I kind of knew for a while. So I think I've had a little bit more time with it.
Yeah.
And he's like,
But
plus
again,
we've
I
all
also
talked
think
about it.
that's how it react. Yeah, like he's gotten to know them. He be they're his bedfellows. You know what I mean? Like everybody else has a different relationship to him, to them, to the joint than she does.
And she's like, who's they? She's like, he's like, me and the other 11. And she's like, oh, y'all talk? What y'all having potlucks and shit?
This
And,
is when my feelings got hurt for her. This is actually was a lot.
and he was like, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. She's like, oh, that's a lot of flying. And he's like, it's generally on Zoom. She goes, y'all ain't think to invite me? And he was like, if you notice this? When she asked him that, he pours her a drink. He starts to pour her a drink.
He's like, you might need a. He's like, let's dole you out a little bit.
He says, yeah, we took a vote. It wasn't unanimous. So I think Diabate voted for her to be there, I'm guessing. But I wonder how many other people did. He's like, it wasn't unanimous, but the majority did not think he would be a help. Plus the 5 non-English speakers that you didn't invite to Spain, they thought that was fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I also think like what's interesting about that is obviously that was because she didn't trust them to translate. But then in hindsight, it's like, okay, somebody could have translated. So, like you could have, you know what I mean? There's something you probably should have still invited them. But I think so this is where Carol loses me because sometimes she makes choices and I'm like, I wouldn't have made that same choice or I wouldn't have done it that way. But then she finds out that they've been meeting over Zoom, which that really has to hurt because it's like, oh, so y'all could have invited me. Y'all really went out of your way not to. Like, y'all can't even give me like break room access. Like, I couldn't be in a breakout room. Like, you couldn't mute me if I start talking too much. But that's how strong of an opinion she made. But I will say, like, they're dragging it by leaving her out because, first of all, you are the last 13 people on Earth. Truly, like, this is crazy to exclude one person, and she didn't do nothing to y'all directly. But then, secondly,
Well, she did. She killed Lakshmi's father, her granddad.
But she didn't do that directly. She didn't kill him. She manslaughtered him, maybe involuntary manslaughter, but like she didn't kill him. And so it's like, and so even if somebody did involuntary manslaughter someone close to me, if they're the last 13 people on Earth, I'd be like, all right, damn, I guess we got to give them another conversation. We at least got to talk through it. So I think they're kind of dragging it a little bit in terms of excluding her. Like it is literally the end of the world. So like, can you imagine being like,
yeah, but she's also such a party foul. She's such a Debbie Downer.
No,
who wants her around?
But that's the point, though, I'm trying to get to. She's not wrong. The world has ended. Things are bad.
Yes.
You don't exclude the one person who's like, y'all, this is crazy, right? Like, yes, it is crazy. And we don't need to be deluding ourselves for 2 weeks straight that like, this is normal. So I get wanting to have a party, but I also get being like, yeah, we probably shouldn't leave her out altogether because like, she wasn't wrong. So anyway, I guess I'm just like, I'm a nasty woman. I know what it's like to be wrong. And I know it's like to be loud and right, but be early so people think you're wrong. And that is why I feel for Carol.
Also, everyone not built to be a hero. Some people just, I'm not like, I'm the one that's going to save the world. You know how much of a narcissist you have to be to do? I always talk about that with superheroes. Now we do podcasts with superheroes. I was like, do you know how much of a narcissist you have to be, even if you have superpowers, to be like, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to save the world. Mm-hmm. And so it takes people like, it's just like to be president, right? You can be the best person in the world, but to think that I alone can be president of the United States takes a level of narcissism that most people just don't have.
Exactly. Because most people don't even want to admit that their small actions have consequences on other people. So like the idea to be able to get all the way to like I have enough power and skill and love to get to this point. Mind you, it is funny because there's a scene in where there's a character in the new Knives Out who's like an aspiring politician, and he just talks about how like he tried to do all the politician shit and it didn't work. So like there really is like a formula to believe having enough ego.
Yeah.
Ego is really the word to be able to get there. I agree.
So then the emotions hit Carol, and she's like, "You got a bathroom?" She goes to the bathroom. Before she even cries,
I know that
she
move.
looks at.
I know that move.
But she goes in there to cry because she needed to have a good cry.
Mm-hmm.
But
Been
she
there.
can't even go have a good cry because she sees Diabante's ridiculous picture on the wall of him looking over
It's
his
like,
glasses.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Of course."
My boy. My
goes,
boy
"Of
was
course."
made to be in French Degrassi. That's who he was made for.
Meanwhile, I think Diabante was on the phone with Zosha, and he was telling her, this is my opinion. She's telling her, "Look, man, she's lonely. Can y'all go back there and talk? She's not gonna kill y'all, I promise. Just go back and talk to her." And then he was like, "By the way, I can't wait till y'all come back, dog. I got something up my sleeve for y'all." And so he goes and checks on Carol. She's sleeping. He puts a cover on her. It was kind of warming to do that. And so she wakes up in the morning and comes up, and Diabante's already up there making her breakfast. Made her bacon, eggs, toast, and avocado. Carol,
I was watching that. I was so hungry. I said, "This looks like the best meal on earth," but I realized it's because I was hungry, not because they're in Vegas or.
Carol comes over, and she's appreciative. And then she starts making this ridiculous sandwich. She just literally just piles everything on one.
Is it ridiculous?
Yes, because she only uses one piece of bread.
Well, this is what's ridiculous about the brunch industry. That's technically just avocado toast. Avocado toast is just they sell you one less slice of bread. Do you appreciate that?
I don't eat avocado toast. I'm not a fucking hipster.
Okay, first of all, putting vegetables on bread is not hipster. They told you that so that
Okay.
black men wouldn't eat avocados. That is actually racism being used against you for once. But no, so basically it's like a breakfast sandwich without one piece of bread is literally like toast with avocado with bacon and egg. They sell that for $15. And then if you got a breakfast sandwich, that would cost less. That's the funny part.
She starts down on that, and then Diabate to like show some.
But to be fair, though, that's not how they eat it in France. To be fair.
Well, Diabate to show some camaraderie, he builds himself a sandwich and eats it. He's like, "Oh, that's actually kind of good." And so then she's like,
camaraderie. I think he's also just genuinely curious. He's like, "What the fuck is she doing?" Because like we Americans are known to eat crazy, and so he's like,
Yes.
"Why would she not take one bite at a time? What's happening?" And she takes like this big aggressive bite, and he's like, "I'm just gonna taste it politely." But it's a very
she's been eating TV dinners for the last 2 weeks.
Hell yeah, that's true. That's true.
So then he goes, "Oh, so what you finna get up to, Carol?" And Carol's like, "I think I'm gonna get me another sweet here and hang out for a little while." And she was dead serious. And Diabate was like,
she was.
Because Diabate's like, "As long as you're here, I ain't gonna have no fun. I'm not finna be here and be miserable." And then Carol picks up on that because she has some emotional intelligence.
Real quiet. He gets real quiet.
And then she was like, "I'm joking. I'm going back to the crib. Fuck Vegas." And he's like, "Woo, all right, cool."
She starts laughing.
He says, "Listen, don't be a stranger." You know, he's like walking her out and like, "Don't be a stranger."
She like, them other people might not accept your call, but you can page me. He said, "Pick up any phone and tell anyone you want to find me, and they'll find me."
And then we get this scene.
Sure. Maybe you will have some ideas on how to save these people from starvation.
I love this answer because she's so ornery. She's such an ornery person. I love it.
But again, this is one of the things where it's like she's not wrong.
Maybe a little bit. We'll talk about it.
I don't know. Maybe tell him to pick a fucking apple.
Because honestly, let me call bullshit, because you're telling me you are okay with assimilating and forcing people into your way of life, which killed 100 million people or whatever in one night, right? Like all those people died from the assimilation immediately from the joining. And that is like a price you have to pay and you appreciate the sacrifice. But you can't pick an apple off of the tree early.
No, this is the same thing my wife said. Y'all are missing this. It's well, maybe you're not missing this. As far as we know, 6 episodes in, it could be all lies, but as far as we know, 6 episodes in, they didn't have a choice for those things. That's you're saying like how could you be okay with that and not okay with this? And I'm like, they're not okay with it. It's just what is. That's why I always use the animal thing.
But they've made peace with it in the sense of like it's for their survival, but so would eating an apple be for their survival. Eating fruit off the ground would be for your survival. It would be less effort and less violation than grinding up dead bodies.
Right, but we're assuming that they're making a choice not to pick to like hurt life, as opposed to that being an imperative in their DNA that they can't hurt life.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, but I guess the reason why they built in some flexibility with the whole like they prefer to be vegans but they're not, which says a vegetarian. Which are you going to play the whole scene? I'll wait for that. Then.
Think about it like this. So we watched Foundation recently, right? And so we learned about the laws of robots. And one of the laws of robots originally, before they got twisted, was like you can't hurt a person, right? And so there may be a scenario where you need to save a person. You need to save a person, you got to hurt a person, but you can't hurt a person, right? So like that was programmed into the robots in the Foundation universe. So they weren't okay with not doing that. They didn't make a choice. It wasn't like I could just do it or I could not do it or I make peace with it. It's like, no, that's programmed into me. I can't do it. I can't hurt a person. It's nothing I can do about that. And so what I'm saying is y'all might be right. I'm not saying y'all aren't right. I'm saying 6 episodes in, what the show has told us is that they didn't have no choice in any of that matter. It's just their biological imperative.
It still feels like semantics that they can that their biological imperative can have harm attached to it, and they still do it knowing there's harm, and they've made peace with that some kind of way, but they can't evolve their biological imperative to eat fruit.
Yeah, it's like the scorpion is going to sting you.
Some kind of okay.
It's what I think, but
people out there know what I'm saying, so I get it. I get what you're saying.
It may be nefarious.
Wow. Sorry. I didn't mean that. I mean, fuck it, yes, I did. I meant that, but not like it sounded. I'm not some kind of monster, you know? I just...
not just a girl.
They're doing this to themselves. They are choosing to starve.
They do not see it that way.
Listen.
See? Yep. They don't see it that way.
They're both right. No, they're both right.
The only way to save these lunatics is to turn them back the way they were.
Now, that is correct. The only way to actually save them is to make them have choice again.
Yeah, it's basically like if we lived in a world made of nuts, and then a virus came and made everybody allergic to nuts, and it's like, yeah, like we could accept that everyone deserves to eat what they want to eat, or we could heal them of their nut allergy and then they could just go back to their regular lives. I don't know if that's the best metaphor, but that's what it feels like. It's like
it's a random metaphor.
They're because I'm just thinking about like their ability to eat, but like they're creating parameters that like the bigger issue here is if we cure your allergy or cure your virus, we won't have to worry about this at all because you were not going to starve before.
Yeah, but see, I think this show is taking a lot from different IPs and kind of bringing them into its own thing. I think they are taking stuff from Asimov because one of the things of the law of robotics that like what made Demerzel was what we last is that these laws conflicted, right? They conflicted with each other, which forced their programming to then evolve, right? Because when these laws conflict, you either malfunction or you evolve, right? And so I think what's going to happen is I think y'all are ultimately going to be right about this, is that ultimately they're going to they're going to get. I think they're going to get tricked. I don't want to use the word trick, but I think their programming, for lack of a better term, is going to change as the show moves forward. But as we exist today, what we know today is that they have a biological imperative that they can't say no, they can't lie to you. It's like they're not choosing not to lie to Carol. They just can't. They can't do it. You know what I mean?
Well, also, with that said, I have been using the term prime directive. So I do understand what you're saying.
That's Star Trek, but yes.
No, prime directive was Demerzel's terms.
Was it?
Yes.
No, I don't think that was Demerzel's term. Was it? Prime directive?
You doubt me. You doubt me multiple times per episode. It's so annoying.
Okay, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what this is playing. Anyway,
there is a way to reverse this. Help me find it. Do you seriously think the world is a better place now just because it's peaceful? Well, once they turn us, we're going to starve right along with them. Yeah, thought of that?
They cannot turn us. Not without our consent.
That was the big news of this episode. They cannot turn us without their consent. By the way, it wasn't prime directive. It was zero flaw.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
What do you mean?
It seems the only way to make the virus work on us is by tailoring it to our individual stem cells. But to obtain those stem cells, they must first collect them from our bodies.
What?
Apparently that involves sticking a large needle into the bone of the hip. Somewhat painful and very invasive. Something they cannot do without our permission.
When did you find this out?
They made this discovery only yesterday. They are not pleased about it, I can assure you. They asked me if I would give my consent. I said, regrettably, as of this time, I prefer not to.
That's so, like, an American would never say that. An American person would never say that, ever.
No, I do appreciate how he says it and how he communicates it. It's very French, but also, that's why, like, I don't want to underestimate him because he's aware that, like, he'll be the one doing the acting. You know what I mean? He'll be the one on stage. He won't ever be in the crowd again enjoying the show if he's able to let them do that. And that is in effect a type of death. So that's very real. Anyway, I just wanted to point out. So like she mentions it once or twice. Demerzel uses the phrase prime directive, and just because you don't see it, it was in the script. So that's where I got it from. But we'll have to rewatch season 4 and bring this up in a
year
right. and a half. I know I was right because I'm not making it up. It's not an opinion, but thank you. Thank you.
This was one of my favorite scenes as well. Just how she was acting while she was on hold. It's just so like, it's so like human that it's just great.
No, it is. Cause like, who wants to hear that every time now?
Hello, Carol. This is a recording. At the tone,
it's like walking
you
in
can leave
circles.
a message to request anything you might need. We'll do our best to provide it.
Look, she's trying to put her foot on some shit. It's the funniest shit in the world.
But after everything that's happened, we just need a little space.
It's me. Is it true that you need our stem cells to turn us into you? And furthermore, is it true that you need our express permission to collect those stem cells?
She's speaking so like, it's almost like she's like being a lawyer. Like, no, it's like she's in a courtroom. It's like she's stating it for the record.
Well, I had this is when my moment when I said Brandon's right. She is giving a Karen because she's definitely talking to somebody's manager.
Yeah, well, yeah. She's a Carol. So they put on the board, yeah, it's true, Carol, on both accounts. And she calls back
They don't just put it on the board; they put it on like the marquee. So
Oh
basically,
yeah, the
it's like
marquee.
Times
Yeah.
Square broadcasting it. It's like instead of Tyler Creator's face in his new album, it's "Hey Carol, what's up?"
She calls back. She gets the answer machine again. She has to wait for that again, and then she says, "I just want to make it clear, I don't consent. I'm good." And then they go,
Yeah, like don't ever put that big old needle in me.
They go, "Okay, Carol, we acknowledge that.
Got it.
We'll never take your stems. You're good." And then Carol's like, "I'm good. I'm getting out of here." And they go downstairs, and Diabante's like, "This your car? Like, this the car you chose?" She's like, "Yep." He's like, "Interesting choice." And she walks by his cars. You know what's funny?
No, honestly, he killed it.
I
with this one.
wanted to get a song clip for this, and I knew it would get us not banned, but I knew it would get us a hit, and I was willing to play it anyway, but I didn't do it. So you should be proud of me, Chanel. But I wanted to do it so bad for this, but it was Shine from Lil Wayne, because he talks about having 7 different cars every day. He has a choice. That's what Diabate has. 7 different cars. Every day he's got a choice. We're still live. I'll get you back. There you go. You're back. So then that's when he comes in, and then she leaves. And then we get 12 days, 12 hours, 42 minutes post outbreak. And then the clock goes backwards to 9 days. So it goes back 3 days, and we go back to Paraguay. And homie's still in there on his hand radio, checking all the frequencies. There's one frequency that's like playing some type of like beat, and it's odd. And so he marks that down with a question mark. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what's this question mark bullshit? And so then he sees the woman show back up with some more food. He goes outside with his tire iron, knocks that shit over. But this time he sees the package from Carol. He gets the tape. The tape's perfectly subtitled for him. He pops that tape in, and it's the first video we saw from Carol explaining what she found. He finds out that there's 12 other people like him in the world, which he didn't know. And now he has hope. He's like, God damn it, it's another miserable fuck like me. I need to get the fuck out of here. And he decides
and
to
that's
find.
when we find out that he's been hiding in that place like for 12 days. Like he basically was at work when the joining happened and hasn't been home. He hasn't walked the street since then. I'm like, he's even more secluded than Carol was.
Yes.
He doesn't know anything about them.
He then goes home to his crib, eats some old ass leftovers.
He walks in, he's like, hey, if you ain't here, I advise you get out. But nobody's in there but again, he's still like scared that somebody's waiting to get him. And like, that's the thing about both him and Carol. Like, they actually are not. I don't know what they're waiting to do, but they're not waiting in your house to come get, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have been, like, you slept, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've gone to sleep, and they have master keys. So they could have came in your house, and you could have woke up somewhere else if that was going to be it. So that's the only thing. Like, this actually is a great point to bring up. So shout out to Seb, who said that we were in his top 3 of podcasts this year, which is so amazing. And I was asking him what he thought about about this. And so we talked about Uruguay Man and Carol in general. And he said,
Paraguay.
Carol is the most frustrated. Thank you.
No,
Uruguay or Paraguay?
Paraguay.
Damn.
Colombian
Okay,
expat in Paraguay.
Because Uruguay is very far south. So I was like, he has a long drive. He's not going to get there in 3 days. Okay, so he said, Carol is the most frustrating main character I've seen in a while. Her episode 4 actions, which was her like going and investigating and asking the questions would have been my episode 1 actions. But then she calls a whole fucking summit of unjoined people, and her plan is what's the plan? And then I was like, but Mr. Oh, you're right, Paraguay. I said, Mr. Paraguay pissed me off the worst. And he said, the man is allergic to sensibility. And we were like, just eat the fucking food, please. And he said the fact that he thought he'd find food in storage containers that aren't even climate controlled. And I said, diarrhea in the apocalypse sounds terrible. So anyway, he says, I bet he won't even flush the toilet just to spite them. Just rancid vomit in a toilet bowl. Anyway, and another problem is that in the new world, falling asleep, you'd be afraid to wake up to a room of weeds smiling at you. So anyway, his theory was that the powder was mushroom farming the dead bodies and consuming the mushrooms. So we all kind of were up on that. And then that's when we got the top 3 podcast comments. So anyway, shout out to Seb. Thank you for this. Is technically a listener email because we DM back and forth about the show. And I think he's watching it the way I'm watching it, which is like, I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm a little bit like, yeah, this is what I would do. But I'm also like, this man just needs to eat. I'm glad he ate that. Whatever he ate was not fresh. Because like you said, it was like in a Tupperware. But I need this man to like drink some water, eat some food, take a shower. Okay, and then we can go from there, because it's so clear. Because again, when people come and invade your town and village, they don't leave you be. So clearly something else is going on.
He then goes to his he's got a like garage with a convertible in there. He grabs him some maps. He's about to head up to fucking New Mexico. He pulls out, and then the car cuts off. And I was like, this show
just stalls.
Then this old lady comes up.
You, he could have, but he could have a Maserati in every color. Like he needs to turn this on.
This old lady comes up. She's like, I'm glad you finally got out. Like, anything you need, just let us know, son. So it's his mama. And he's like, you ain't my fucking mama. Why you calling me son? My mama's a bitch. and then gets back in the car, rolls down the hill, and pulls off.
No, he starts pushing the car down the road.
Yeah, so it can start up. Yeah, pushing it down the hill. Yeah, you're right. And then it starts up, and then he peels off. And that's the end of the episode.
I love that. Mi mama es un... Oh, what do you say? He doesn't say puta. He says, mi mama es una cabrona. He said, mi mama es una cabrona. My mom's an asshole, so you're not my mom. And that is actually... Can you imagine having, like, a dickhead family member, and then
now they're nice.
They become joined? Yeah, and they're like, we love you so much. But I was actually confused, because I'm like, there is no real flying route from, like, if he was in Panama, we'd have a different situation, but there's no driving route from South America to where he's trying to go. So at some point he's going to have to pull over and ask them for help, or they're going to have to help him on their own.
Well, there has to be some driving route, right? Because we're all connected.
There is. But it's not. I don't think it's connected like that where you can. I genuinely don't think you can.
Oh, okay.
I just tried to Google Maps it. Let's see. Can I drive to Brazil? Directions from where I'm at right now. It says can't seem to find a way there. Yeah. So like there's this you could get through Panama, and then you could get through Costa Rica, but okay, I take it back. There is a route, but it's not realistic, or something disconnects at some point, because even though Mexico connects to Guatemala and blah 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 down in South America, let me just put it in perspective. So this is Paraguay.
Yeah.
And this is where she at. So that's not if he left on day 9, he's not getting there by day 13. So there's just something. No. Anyway, we'll see what he does. But like, can you imagine though, like he shows up and like everybody's already dead because he was stubborn and he wanted to drive fucking 17 days.
I want to see him pull over and be like, fuck this, I'm calling my mama. Hey, Ma, can I get a plane or some shit?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but that's the thing. He hasn't even interacted with them to the point where he doesn't know. He's not thinking with his big brain, because there's so many things could have happened for him to try to see. Like, the first time you fly in a plane, like Carol was in the very back, but she wasn't dumb enough to say, don't take me to Spain. She wasn't dumb enough to be like, I drive myself, right? So I think there's ways to try it out. We'll see if he gets smart. But I actually was disappointed in this man because he should have known from that phone call where she cussed him out that something wasn't right and been investigating, and he's just been sitting there with that damn ham radio the whole time. So I don't really know if he's going to figure this one out in time, but we'll see, because he's definitely a player that Carol needs on the board, because right now she's very isolated and alone, and she's not that much closer to finding anything out.
I'll play as that. All right. Before we get out of here, we're gonna see what Chanel's been on.
Don't watch TV.
So what we need to discuss is the year-end wraps. So wanted to just make sure to tell everyone, this is why I want to do this in the beginning, to tell everyone, thank you so much to those of you who listened to our show this year. It's so weird because I don't like doing stuff until like December 31st, but it has been another year. And if you've been listening to the show for more than a year, then you know that like, okay, maybe like a year and a half, like 2 years ago, it was very tough because I was in school and it was very inconsistent. But we're back now. We're on YouTube. We're coming up on our 100th YouTube video. We've passed our 100th episode, where we went down by one, but we're trying to push to 500 subscribers. Like, we just have so many reasons to be grateful for you guys. And our rap said that we are, because Brandon, you said you didn't see it, right?
Mm-mm.
So to do the brass tacks, we are there are 22 people for whom we are their number one podcast. So all 22 of you, I love you, and I will marry whoever of you is eligible and single. But no, actually, like, just having 22 people who fuck with our show consistently, that means a lot. Thank you guys so much for listening. We have grown a lot. So apparently we our audience grew by 60% from last year, and we have like more than 1,000 new listeners, which is silly. Total followers went up by 60%, and people have listened to our show this year for 5 months worth of listening time. So collectively, people spent 5 out of the last 12 months listening to our show, which is crazy. We love you for that. Thank you guys. And then our number one episode in 2025 was, what do you think?
Probably something with White Lotus.
It was the first episode, Who Shot Ya, that played 300 times more than the average. 13% of our new audience discovered us through that, which dope. I'm glad we were on our A game, because we just be talking shit. It was
this is old,
the next
though.
one was,
because I think
they're saying of 2025.
Yeah, I know, but I think episode 1 of Pluribus passed that.
Yeah, I mean, they must cut it off at some point.
Yeah, they're cutting us short.
We got a lot of comments on April 1st. April Fool's Day. I don't know what we were doing that day. Okay, this is so exciting. 52 countries. We were listening to it 52 countries. Why are they? I can't even name 52 countries. This is
episode
amazing.
1 of Pluribus did pass it, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll be in the 2026 wrap.
The only thing more than that is House of the Dragon, our first ever episode, House of the Dragon, season 1, episode 1. Industry, season 3 finale. Industry, season 3, episode 6. Succession, season finale. Industry, episode 1. Everything else.
Okay.
And then Pluribus.
You're talking about all time. Okay, let's stick to 2025, but that we're gonna hit those records again when industry comes back. Our top 5 countries. Name any of the ones that are not the U.S.
What kind of question is that?
You name one of the countries.
There's like a million countries.
Well, we were okay. Well, I'll just tell you then. Number 1 is U.S. Boo.
All right,
Number 2 is Canada. Canada, eh? I can't really do a good Canada accent.
Wow, you're like 5 minutes away.
I know I'm right by Windsor, but it blends in a lot more than you think. And then like I'd have to talk about maple syrup to even get into it. It's not worth it. The UK. Are you not?
That wasn't good.
I see. man, I can do an authentic one, but I have to be listening to people talk with the accent and then flow into it. I can't do it off nowhere. But thank you guys so much to my cousins. Because, okay, side note, I was listening to this UK podcast and they were doing their ancestry and they were like trying to figure out where they were from. And I was just laughing, thinking like, for us, like being Black American, but like having roots, are like now all African, you're like, some part of me is British. And I was like, all right, that's as far back as I need to go. Like, okay, I have British in me. At some point they came over here. And that's it. Like Britain is as far back as I need to go for my ancestry. So anyway, what's up to my cousins? Australia is number 4. Remember the time the guy was on and he was commenting about Tasmanian devils and helped me understand what they were?
Yeah, because you were being racist to the Australians. I remember.
It's not race. It's, if anything, I was being nationalist. But anyway, shout out Australia. Shout out. G'day. To you guys, and I just passed Outback today, so just shout out to you guys. I'm gonna think of you guys whenever I drive by.
Everything that she just said does not apply to me. That was all Chanel. Just so y'all listen.
Steak on the Barbie.
This is all Chanel.
Get to when you're doing accent work, you have to have some like tent poles, and that's just how I have to do that. And then Germany, Auf Wiedersehen. I couldn't believe it. Thank you guys so much. I'll learn Dutch if you need me to, or that's not the right language. I'll learn German if you need me to, and I have been to Berlin. I can come back anytime. You guys just let us know. So anyway,
why would you go Dutch? What was that?
I forgot. I said the wrong thing. It's just I'm just getting excited about Europe. I would love to do a show out there, guys. Just
I think that's Amsterdam, right? Netherlands. That's the Dutch.
Amsterdam. That is, yeah. And then and Netherlands is Dutch, and then German is German. German is German. So I don't know where I went to from that, but we're a top 10 show for 213 fans. So all 200 of y'all, you already know what it is. You're a top 10 fan for us. How about that? And we are the top 5 show for 113 fans. And then, like I said before, we are the top show for 22 people. Those 22, your names will be on my tombstone. And our top fans streamed us 3.4 times more than anyone else, which means a lot. And some people binge more than 2 episodes in a day and hit play. 35% of people listen to our episodes within a day it drops. So that is dope as fuck. Thank you guys so much. We love you. And we are in the same... There's some super dope books and other shows. The top shows for our audience's prestige TV podcast, which is because you keep advertising them for free.
I don't think I've ever advertised them.
But you're going to be shocked and upset by by the second most listened to podcast by our fans.
What is it?
Guess.
Again. There's 10 million podcasts.
What podcast would be a huge podcast that would be crazy for somebody? They turn us on, turn us off, and then turn this man on.
The Breakfast Club.
No, that makes more sense because they're Black.
Yeah, but
you're not thinking. You got turn on your big brain.
Yeah, the Breakfast Club.
The number 2 top show for people is the Joe Rogan Experience. So
why is that surprising to you? It's the biggest podcast in the world.
Because we're a niche. We're niche.
Yeah,
and so for people to be binging between us and them is amazing.
But they're not niche. Everyone listens to the Joe Rogan show.
No, but my point is that everyone does not, though. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm not even trying to out y'all. I'm just saying that's amazing to me. That's crazy.
When I say everyone, I mean like all types of people listen to the Joe Rogan show.
Right, but there are some people who don't, and I would have assumed the people who absolutely don't are the people who listen to us, and that's not the case. And so that's just amazing. Anyway, I just really love you guys so much, and we're so grateful, and you are the reasons why we do this show, because again, we do not fucking get paid to do this show. So we do it for the love of it, and we do it just for these small moments of feedback. And then just to wrap up, in 2025, fans listen to us for longer than 96% of other shows. So the people who listen to us really listen to us. Also, we receive more comments than 97% of shows. So I love that we're on Anchor, and that is where you guys can always comment at the end of every show. And finally, we receive more shares than 92% of other shows. So that means you guys, I don't know if it's all me, but you guys are putting us out there and sharing it. I appreciate it so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for being there and helping us grow this channel out. And I just have to end this by saying, We Was Watching was not in my top podcast because for obvious reasons, but I'm not going to let that happen again next year. I'm going to start just listening to my shit on low and letting it happen. So at least I'm going to be my own fan. Brandon, you need to do the same, because by next year, I want to be having a live show in one of those countries we said, not just going live on YouTube. So let's keep growing the show, guys. All it takes is for me to get my shit together and start posting more clips, right? Or if anyone wants to volunteer, let me know. Any of the 22 who want to get tapped in, ground floor, want to be an equity partner, reach out. So with that said, the We Was Watching podcast has been hosted by me and Brandon as your hosts, reviewing Pluribus. We are a show for blurs and baddies who are interested in like TV, film, sci-fi, fantasy, alien stuff, the Borg, comedy, and the politics in between, everything. You can follow us at We Was Watching across all the socials. You can email us at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. You can always comment on, if you listen to the podcast on Spotify, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We read on the show. If you give a less than 5-star review, I will just Jones you on the show in response. And we will see you guys. Damn, Brandon's right. We only have, when does Fallout come on?
17th.
Dang, so next week you'll only have Pluribus from us unless we come up with something else. And then you'll have Fallout, and then we'll have Christmas break, but we'll probably record something over break. And we're going to get as much of this done before my next life phase as possible. So let's get this podcast, let's get monetized by March, guys. I have a personal deadline. We need to get monetized by March so I don't have to work no more. Okay, guys, you guys got about 3 months to get us there. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you. Thanks for sharing. And we hope you're happy.